What's up, Trojans? So, the Giants just suck. Absolutely pathetic performance. I think this is the worst game I've seen, because this is one the Giants really should have won, and it wasn't even close. And it wasn't even like one thing held us back, like, all right, we can get that working next week, right? No. The whole team sucked. Everyone sucked. I'll name two players that I don't think completely sucked right now. Graham Gano, because he hit that great field goal, and Kayvon Thibodeau, because he actually showed up for once this season. Otherwise, everyone sucked. Daniel Jones sucked. Saquon Barkley sucked for sitting on the sidelines. Not his fault, obviously, but it's like, no one did anything good. Dable sucked. The special teams coach sucked. The Kafka sucked. The offensive coordinator sucked. The defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale, sucked. The backup linebacker sucked. The offensive line sucked. Daniel Jones really sucked again, if I didn't mention that already. The wide receivers sucked. Everyone sucked. It was just terrible all around. And the reason why this is the worst is because Seattle played horrible. Seattle put on one of the worst performances I've seen, and the Giants played worse. Seattle wanted the Giants to win that game. They really did, committing penalties left and right, messing up so much, sitting Geno Smith for like a whole quarter for a phantom injury. I don't know what that was about. The freaking Seahawks wanted the Giants to win. And yet, the Giants just found a way to lose. It was absolutely bizarre to watch. And you know what's crazy? If there were 0 turnovers in this game, the score would be 7-10. I'm assuming Daniel Jones completes a touchdown pass. Instead of 24-3. It was just terrible. Oh my gosh. Just absolutely terrible. At least against Dallas, it was to a team playing well. Like, I don't think Dallas was playing on, like, some insane Super Bowl level that night. They were just playing like a solid NFL team. Seattle was also playing like a high school team. The problem was the Giants showed up like a middle school team. It was that bad. Normally, I'd be like, yeah, the other team played great. No. The Giants just played so bad. If Seattle didn't make a ton of mistakes, I'd say that. I'd say, yeah, Seattle played great. Giants just sucked. No. Both teams sucked, and the Giants sucked even more. Like, way more. Way more. Terrible all around. Bad play calling, bad blocking, bad throwing by the quarterback, I'm sure probably bad route running by the wide receivers. Honestly, I only mentioned them before because, well, I didn't see anyone make a one-handed catch and break 5 tackles for a touchdown, so didn't play that great. Not that I can expect that every game, but, someone's got to do something when this is happening. And then on the defense was looking okay, and then, just kind of sucked as well, eventually. This team was terrible tonight. Absolutely terrible. I'd love to have a quarterback that could play football when it's not 1 p.m. on a Sunday and 70 degrees and sunny. I don't know what happened. I really don't. 11 days. 11 days is how long the Giants had to prepare, and they looked like they had 2 hours of sleep the night before and 5 minutes to prepare. It was terrible. I didn't see anything that was like, oh, wow, that was a great move. Oh, schematically, like, you could see the preparation in that. Like, no. I don't know what the offense did. I'm trying to think of an offensive play that I was like, wow, that was good offensive play. I mean, Daniel Jones had some nice runs. He was trying. I'm not going to accuse anyone of not putting effort in. They were putting effort in. They were trying. They just sucked tonight. It was bad. It was very, very bad. It was so bad. I have the draft order up right now. That's how bad it was. I don't know if the team can recover because what in the next 2 weeks, if you can't beat the Seahawks playing their worst football, how do you expect to beat the Dolphins who put up 70 on the Broncos? How do you expect to beat the Bills who a lot of people thought could win a Super Bowl the last couple years? And probably thought would win a Super Bowl this year. how are you going to beat those two teams if you can't beat the Seahawks playing their worst football? How? And the Seahawks, man, they tried. Oh, man. The Seahawks, so many penalties. So many penalties. And I didn't see a single Seahawks penalty where I was like, I don't know, but I'll take it because I'm a Giants fan. No. They were all, like, it was like, oh, he grabbed the face mask and tugged. Oh, they didn't show the taunting. There was one big taunting penalty. They didn't show it, so I can't do anything about that. But like holdings and like everything Seattle did, they were legitimate penalties, man. And the Giants also, so many penalties. They looked like a very competent team in terms of penalties compared to the Seahawks, but it was a lot of penalties. Just an entire team collapse, and the Giants can't afford to keep doing this year, or this draft order thing I'm doing kind of here is a joke. It's not going to be a joke come April. The Giants are going to be sitting there with like the first or second pick at this rate. They can't keep playing like this. This was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Some of the worst possible football to put up on Monday night with Eli Manning watching. And, you expect it to be a bit more interesting. I remember 2021, there were a couple primetime games. They did the Manning cast, and they were interesting. Manning was, like, really rooting. He was a little dead this whole game. He was just kind of like, oh, that sucks, like, when stuff happened. And, after this game, I don't blame any Giants fans for feeling that way. Daniel Jones threw that pick six, and there was just lines of people walking out of the stadium, and I'm like, yeah, go right ahead. I don't blame you. Try to beat some traffic. You're probably getting caught in traffic at this rate, but, I guess if half of you are getting out, that's the big thing. Daniel Jones played terrible. Now, when you're getting sacked as many times as him, you're getting pressured every play, it's tough to blame if you're getting a little trigger happy and frantic and, running around. He's trying his best back there, but he put up a terrible performance. I don't know what else to say about it. Power through, throw the ball quicker, make a decision faster. You got to do something. You got to work with it. I don't know. You're getting paid all that money. You're not some rookie coming in here, and it's like, oh, if we can just fix the offensive line. Well, you've been here long enough. You gotta adapt, overcome. You gotta do something now. You're getting paid all this money. Figure it out. It's not as big of an excuse anymore. You got to do something, except throw interceptions. Like, don't do that. There's no excuse for that, especially on that play, on that big interception play. Darren Waller's wide open back of the end zone. Throw him a nice little floater. He could have caught that back of the pylons. Completely different ball game. Giants are still in it at that point. All of the terrible play aside, if the Giants had just gotten that drive right there and then, they're still in the game, and everyone still has motivation to keep it moving. And honestly, overall, look, I say the defense sucked. They were okay. They were actually okay. Like I said, without turnovers, 17 points were scored off turnovers. And then Seattle only had 24 points in this game. They would have only had only one touchdown was because of a kickoff drive. This game would be 7-10 if Daniel Jones doesn't throw that pick and instead hits Darren Waller in the back of the end zone, and then the defense continues to hold up like they did. I mean, you could say, yeah, but Seattle probably would have scored because they would have been more motivated, this, that, the other. But, just those two variables taken into account, 7-10's this ball game, Giants win. Absolutely pathetic that happened. And the special teams was the other thing. I don't know if I've mentioned it yet. Special teams, absolutely terrible. That's where so many of the penalties were. So many mistakes are there. The only guys on special teams that did great were actually the two guys you think of when you think of special teams, the kicker and the punter. Graham Gano hitting a long field goal. Gillen with some solid punts, honestly. Everyone else on special teams, terrible. Punt returner, fumbled the ball. Thankfully recovered, or this game would have been over a lot sooner. Would have been unwatchable for a lot longer. There was one punt where it bounced at like the 10, kind of bounced toward the end zone. The gunner was right there. You got to find a way to keep that out of the back of the end zone. Hold Seattle back, pin them deep. Maybe the defense gets a safety. Something, anything. And the defense, the reason I say they sucked was Geno Smith gets taken out for some phantom injury. I don't know what it was. No one ever said what it was. He just gets taken out and he comes back in. He didn't look terribly banged up. He got checked out in the back room. I don't know what was going on with that phantom injury. He was pissed off. They got tackled heading toward the sideline. It's like, well, you were like 2 steps away from going out of bounds. And, tackles don't happen instantly in the NFL, as the Giants defense found out when they give up a freaking 60-yard play, and that's why I say the defense sucked. Because Smith goes out with this injury, and then the backup quarterback comes in and looks just as good, if not better, than Geno Smith when he comes in. Because the defense just, I don't know, they freak out when they don't have film on the guy. They didn't practice for the backup quarterback, so they just freak out, start missing tackles on tight ends on the sideline. I don't know what the deal was. I really don't. Absolutely pathetic performance from the Giants. I was looking forward to facing a couple better teams if the Giants could have gotten the crap together in this game, but no. Giants got worse, and I hope Dable has the foresight. Someone's got to make a change. I don't care who gets fired. Someone's got to get fired. I don't know if you actually think all of your major guys are good, fire the water boy or something. Poor innocent water boy. He actually probably did do a good job of getting water to everybody. Someone's got to get fired. A story's got to be made of this. The absolutely pathetic performance. You can't just let that go unchecked. A change needs to be made. It'd be absolutely pathetic if the post-game press conference is like, I just got to trust the guys, though. We'll prepare better next week and, fix some of those issues, and then nothing happens. That would just be pathetic. You can't let a performance this bad go unchecked like that. Something's got to happen. I don't know who it's got to be. I don't know what it's got to be. Now, in the Giants' defense, the only thing I can think of in the Giants' defense is Andrew Thomas and Saquon Barkley weren't out there. Andrew Thomas is a really good left tackle. Zudu is not a really good left tackle in the NFL. I think he was drafted to be a guard, and they have him out at left tackle. That was a factor. Your quarterback starts getting pressured a lot, starts freaking out, and that's where you see the picks come in. That's where you see the fumble come in because it was a blindside hit, right? Better left tackle. Maybe some of these turnovers don't happen. All right, and then Saquon Barkley. Honestly, Breida wasn't terrible. Still going to say he sucked because he could have done better. When the team sucks, even if you look okay, you look like you suck. So he was actually okay. However, he's not Saquon Barkley. There were moments where if it was Saquon Barkley, more yards could have been had, first downs could have been had, things could have happened. Saquon Barkley makes a difference in this offense. And I think he affects play calling, too, for both sides. A defense looking out for Saquon Barkley makes adjustments. Giants offense with Saquon Barkley feels more comfortable running the ball for some reason. I don't know why, because the Giants offense running the ball on that first drive looked great. And that was really where things started to go wrong. How do you mess up a QB sneak? I don't know how. I mean, Philly, to their credit, they run a QB sneak. It's a yard every time. Most other teams in the NFL, they run a QB sneak. It's a yard every time. Giants run a QB sneak, gets stopped. It was a bad first drive. And, the second the Giants got the ball, I was like, they never play well when they get the ball to start. Now, they also don't play well in prime time. And they also don't play well when it's not 70 degrees and sunny. There's a lot of times the Giants don't play well. I mean, I don't know. Petition to have the Giants never have a primetime game again. I don't know. They play terrible in primetime. And more 1 p.m. games. They look better at 1 p.m. This is going back several years. Even last year, they looked better at 1 p.m. normally. I mean, they looked great. I don't want to say great, but they beat Washington primetime last year. Yay. I believe that was a primetime game. I think that was Sunday night. That was a big one. They did it. It was great. You know, I don't know what it is with this team. They got to figure some stuff out. These mistakes, they can't happen. It was all mistakes this game. And they got to find some way to maintain some momentum. Have a fire. Have a spark going. Fix some play calling, because that offensive play calling is not it. That defensive play calling, not it. Deep zones when there shouldn't be deep zones. Blitzes when there shouldn't be. Like, it just invert it. I liked a lot of the blitzing because you got to get pressure somehow, but then they don't get there. Meanwhile, they run a little DB blitz and bam, Jones is hit like that. Things got to get figured out, and the special teams was terrible tonight. Yeah, I don't know what it is with this team. Like I said, I get spark, some momentum. They got to maintain momentum. They can't let one thing defeat them at the beginning of a game, and I feel like that's what's happened. It happened in Dallas. That happened tonight against the Cardinals. I felt like that was starting to happen until, second half. They throw a deep ball, a spark happens. Why no deep ball? And, I don't want this, the pressure sucked. Put an extra offensive lineman out there. Put one extra offensive lineman, 2 if you have to. Have less receivers. Figure something out to create the deep pass. A good play caller can do it with a limited pass protection. You gotta figure stuff out. This team needs to figure stuff out, or, as I said earlier, this draft order thing won't be a meme that I'm using for a thumbnail right now. It'll be what actually happens come April, and the Giants will be picking high in the draft. And honestly, if the Giants are like 1-6, 1-7, or whatever nearing that trade deadline, they might trade some people and have a bunch of draft picks going in with a top 5 draft pick, and that would be terrible. I don't want that. That's why I'm very I have so many feelings about this game, because this wasn't a must-win for the Giants. Because if the Seahawks came out playing really great football and the Giants gave it to them, and it was a close loss by the Giants, maybe like one stupid play happened, like where Breida couldn't break a tackle or dropped a pass, or I don't mean to target Breida there, but like if it was just one small thing that was different, to where like Andrew Thomas could have made that block, or Saquon could have made that juke, right? Like just one small thing that was the difference. I would have been upset, but I would have been fine with that. I would have been like, all right, this team can compete. This team is a good team. But no, Seattle sucked, and the Giants sucked more, and that's what I take from this. At least against Dallas, they played like a good team. Seattle also didn't play like a good team. That's what sucks the most. Absolutely terrible performance, and before I say it for the 10th time, I guess I'll just end the video. See you guys in the next one.